What's going on, Planted365 family? Just got back from Atlanta this morning, 2:30 a.m. Got a few hours of sleep. Woke up around 6:37. Kids were up, and then went and spoke to a high school cheer team at Pinnacle High School. That was awesome, and then put some time in with the family. But yeah, not gonna lie to you guys. Sometimes you put that time in with the family. You're busy. I was speaking today. I was just at a conference in Atlanta. My wife was holding down the fort, doing what she does best, and just being present, being with the kids, doing helping support me. And today I just didn't have my A game with the family. I think I was short. I was irritable. I was tired. I was on low levels of sleep, which that's the nature of what I do, right? Sometimes I'm traveling, sometimes I'm speaking all over the place, and I got to get up and go speak again. I got to have my A game for other people, but do I have my A game inside of my house? That's what I'm most focused on. How do I not only pour into other people like you, pour into other people when they hear my message, but how do I pour into my own family? And I would say, man, just today I fell a little bit short there. I was a little bit irritable. I was tired. I was short with my wife, and I got some prayer to do. I got some things to do. I got some reflection to do on how I speak even when I'm tired, how I speak even when I'm irritable, how I speak even when I'm jet lagged, whatever. That's not an excuse. And I don't think I gave my family my best effort today. And I just want to be transparent with you guys. That's something I'm going to be working on tonight. I'm going to be working on getting with God and just, how do I change my heart posture? How do I, you know, serve her? One thing that Jeremy Anderson talked about this weekend at the Seven Figure Speaker Conference was how you deal with your wife is how I'm going to deal with you, is a word that God told him. How you deal with your wife is how I'm going to deal with you. And I was just thinking about that, reflecting on that before I went live tonight. Just like, wow, if God dealt with me the way I dealt with my wife today, jeez, man, that would not be good. That would not be good. So I just need to focus and see how I can improve, even when I'm not in the best physical or mental state possible. So I hope that encourages somebody. I just wanted to be transparent that I didn't have the best day at home today. Maybe you didn't either. Maybe getting to church was a wreck. Maybe getting to the kids in the car was a wreck. Maybe you weren't the best husband. You weren't the best dad, wife, whatever you're trying to strive to be. Right there with you. I have those struggles too. I preach it, but I also want to practice it. And when we're not practicing, we're phonies, we're false, and I don't want to be that type of person. So I'm gonna get in the lab tonight. And getting in the lab for me is getting in the Word and getting with God and just kind of sitting in His presence, kind of let Him ask Him where my heart's off, where I can improve, how I can be better, even when I'm not in the right mental state or I'm irritable. But had a crazy experience at the Atlanta airport. I'll wrap this up quickly tonight, but I was in the Atlanta airport, dropped all my bags off, dropped the rental car off, and I just had my backpack and a carry-on. Walking through security, got through that. Then I was super hungry. Flight gets delayed once, gets delayed twice. I was supposed to leave at 8:30 Eastern time. Didn't end up leaving until 11 Eastern time. But around 10:15, after I at 8, I was kind of answering some emails, tapping in with some people from the conference, met some cool people in the airport, and man, but honestly, just kind of mentally exhausted because I heard so much information from the weekend. Like I need to like debrief from it. But just kind of mentally exhausted. Got some food, but as I was getting food, I left my bag underneath the chair, and I didn't realize that I had left my bag until it was time to board, and that was about 10:15, 10:20 at night, and there I am. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have my bag. And so I go back down to that gate, like two gates down, Charlie's little steak shop, Philly cheesesteak shop. They're closing up. I'm like, hey, do you guys have my brown duffel bag? They're like, oh yeah. Somebody came and got it from security. I was like, great. Like, can you give me their number? They're like, no, that's outside of our grounds. Like, I can't get it for you. Like, we only work in this terminal. I was like, okay. So I went and found a security guard. They're like, yep, let's call them. We called them. They're like, yeah, we're outside of the airport. We're in Terminal T. You're in Terminal A. Like, you got to get down here if you want your bag, but you're going to have to go through security again. And I'm like, okay, it's 10:15. I'm boarding at 10:45. Like, I don't want to miss my flight. So this is what I told the guy. I told the guy on the other line who has my bag, because I'm like, yeah, brown duffel bag, leather from Greece, like such a sick bag that my wife and I got when we were in Greece when we first got married. and I lose this bag, man. And here's the thing: I can't travel without my wife. I can't travel without Kaylee, right? I'm just starting to figure that out now. I She does everything for me, and she does everything at home. And for me to treat her, the way that I did today, geez, man, I got some soul searching to do. Not, I mean, today was great, man. Today there was a lot of good highlights of today, a lot of good times, but there were some times there I was just not the best version of myself. And I just want to be fully transparent with you guys. I go through that, but I got this. I'm on the line with the security guard, and he's got lost and found, right? But he's outside of the airport now. We got your bag. I'm like, hey, bro, listen, if you can bring that bag up, I'll give you $100 right now. Like, if you bring that bag up, I'll give you $100 right now. I really do need it. It's got my clothes in it. And he's like, yeah, all right, bet. Give me 1 second. He holds the phone. And about 10 seconds later, he comes back. He goes, hey, man, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to be able to grab the bag for you and bring it up. I'm like, oh, what's going on? He's like, oh, it's just not protocol. So the message for today is a lot of us are capable, but we're under contract, right? We're capable of doing something. He was definitely capable of bringing that bag to me, right? He definitely could have done it. It would have taken him 10 minutes, 15 minutes max to get up there, get the bag. I would have given him $100. I don't know what he makes per hour, but $100 would have been nice. Heck, I might have even done $200 to get that bag. But it's not that he wasn't capable, nor did he not want to bring it, but he was under contract, right? And in the contract, it says you can't leave, you can't go, you got to do this, you got to do that. And that's what contracts do. As long as you do this, you will get the pay. As long as you do this, we won't kick you off. As long as you do this, blah, blah, blah. All these things inside the contract, and you sign your name. And that's a physical contract that you sign. But I want to talk today about how we are capable, but a lot of times we're under contract, not only physically with an organization, like I was under contract with the Seattle Mariners, but the signature that I inked that really held me back, it wasn't the contract physically with the Mariners. It was the contract mentally that I had signed over my identity and belief with the Mariners as well. So don't miss that. I had signed a contract mentally and through my heart. My identity and my belief was tied to my physical contract. So the thing that I was physically doing was baseball and my statistics and how I was playing, but I was tying my self-worth, my belief, and my identity to that thing instead of who I was as a person. So there's things in our life that we have contracts with, thought patterns, our heart posture, that we might not have signed something physically, but we've signed something mentally. And and here's the thing, as with every contract, if you do this, you get that. If this happens, then I'm going to react this way. Those are the mental contracts. If this happens, I'll react this way. If this happens, I'll react that way. If this comes along in life, this is the repercussions of that. And we have this programming in our life that gets so deep because we do the same contract over and over and over. We're capable of thinking differently. We're capable of living a big life. We're capable of having belief, but we have these thought patterns that we are under a contractual agreement with in life that we can't seem to break. So what we need to do today is just take some of those things that are holding us back, those thought patterns. We need to take them captive. We got to reconcile with what people have said to us, reconcile with what people have done to us, and reconcile with the things of the past and say, no, no, no. That's an old contract. That's dated from 2016. That's dated from 2014. That's dated from 2020. That contract is not valid today anymore. I'm not going to think like that anymore. I'm not going to act like that anymore. I'm not going to believe like that anymore because that's old news. There's some old news contracts that you got to start shredding up. And just because this happens doesn't mean you got to react this way anymore. Just because that happens doesn't mean you got to react that way anymore. Just because this is said in your relationship doesn't mean you got to do the thing that you used to do before you were the man that you are now. Come on, somebody type it in the chat if you're feeling that. So I just want you to know that you are capable, but a lot of us are under contracts to our old thought patterns. We have a contract mentally, and we've inked something that whenever something happens and comes up in life, we react a certain way. You don't have to react a certain way anymore. You can absolutely change the way that you think. You can absolutely change the way that you align with God. You can absolutely change the way that you maneuver and operate through life. So we are all capable, but a lot of times we get bound by not only physical contracts, but we get bound by mental contracts too. And we got to shred up those old contracts and write a new one. And you can do that. You can reprogram your subconscious mind. You can reprogram yourself to think differently when situations come up. Hey, this happened to me. I used to do this, but now I'm going to think this way. I'm going to do a total 180. I'm going to do a total 360 and start to think totally differently when this situation comes up. I believe you can do it. I know you can. You're more than capable. It's time to write some new contracts in your life. Let's get it. Planted365 family, 11524. That's what I got for you today. Hope you have a blessed day. Peace.